Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates, and today we'll be talking about a movie I never thought would ever be made, or be shown, or be talked about ever again. Because the first one seemed like a one-off, which is Avatar: The Way of Water, which is the sequel we're talking about right now. With me, as always, is John. And
That's always.
yeah, what do you think of? Were you excited for the sequel?
If I were to be really honest with you, no. Like, I wasn't really, how would you say, a fan of
The first one?
the first one. Like, it was very pretty, but it was just like, it was just Pocahontas in space.
Yeah.
And going into this movie, I was just like, okay, fine. It's a big budget movie. People have been waiting for it, and plus, it's my job to watch it and do a review on it. And so it's like put into our schedule. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll fucking watch it, and I did. I damn. And that's all I gotta say. It's just okay. You caught me off guard there.
Yeah, I was impressed with some parts. Other parts, I'm like, we can talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
I was more of curious, like, and excited because I'm like, again, I was like, I never thought I would ever get an Avatar sequel in my lifetime, at least. I was waiting for the next century, probably, or the next decade. I'm like, all right, it's 2042. It's time for Avatar 2. You're like, finally. I can't fucking believe it.
Well, I can't say that's an over exaggeration because it did kind of feel like that. Like we waited probably 12 years or 13 years for the sequel. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, 20 years, 3 comes out.
And like, it kept getting pushed back because I know the first date they wanted to do was the same day as Force Awakens. And they're like, you know what? We don't want to compete with the comeback of Star Wars. We'll push it to another year, and then another year, and then another year. And then you're like, all right, 2020 is the year. And then 2020 happened. You're like, you know what? We need to rethink our schedule. And then 2022 is the year. They're like, no, 2022, we're releasing this. It's been long enough. It's been 13 years. So like it's been 13 years since we saw Neytiri and Jake Sully, and life seems great. They have children. They have like what, 6 children?
Four kids. One adopted.
Yeah.
One's a human boy.
Yeah. There's Spider, who this is not his first movie because I think his first movie was Endgame.
As who?
As the kid when Ant-Man's like, hey kid, what the hell happened here? And the kid's just like,
fuck you.
yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah. But their kids are Taeyeon, who is the oldest, and Loak, who is the second one. The other kid is Kiri, who's voiced by Sigourney Weaver.
But yeah, knowing the fact that Kiri's voiced and acted by Sigourney Weaver as well, I did not notice. I really looked it up. I was like, who the hell played Kiri? Because she does look like, well, the person who mocap Kiri really does look like Sigourney Weaver or her avatar form.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, it's the same fucking person. She just had to act like a teenager.
Yeah.
And she did a fucking amazing job.
And they did some tricks with her voice to make her sound younger. Like Aliens, Sigourney Weaver, during that time.
Yeah.
And then lastly is Tuk, who is the literal youngest. And as you mentioned, Spider, who is revealed to be the son of Quadric.
Yeah, Miles Quadric.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit, dude. We're not gonna go through every dialogue because this movie was fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, like I was watching it, I was like, all right, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then like 2 hours happened, and I'm like, all right, we're about to end. This is the third act, right? And it kept going on and on. I'm like, okay, we're not at the end.
Yeah, and the reason why Miles Quadric is Quadric's son got left is that we find out that babies can't go into cryosleep.
Makes
So they
sense.
had to leave it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, fuck. So when they met up again, I was like, I thought they would bring you home. They're like, babies can't go into cryosleep, asshole. I was like, gets.
Yeah, makes sense. And like
Yeah.
Jake Sully and Natiri are enjoying life for the kids, and all is well until the Sky People, until the Fire Nation comes back, essentially.
Dude, that shit was sick, though, because, like, I love how mystical and how fantasy and sci-fi mix so well together within this movie. Yes, you could say that with the first one, but I think they did it better here, where they're like a new star appears in the sky, and he goes, "Shit, they're back."
Yeah.
Like it sounds so like it sounds like a fantasy world, like a new star. That means a new threat,
Hmm.
but it's actually just a rocket ship coming in like re-entry.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit!" And they torched the motherfucking shit
Yeah.
out of the Navi. Like as it's landing, it hits two birds with one stone, right? Like
Yeah.
they land safely. Also, they clear out any possible threat around them.
Yeah. And if the ships don't do that, the mechanized suits will, because they're like hundreds of
Yeah.
them now.
Yeah, and it actually looked like Warhammer 40k, which I
Yeah.
really like.
Yeah. And then some time passes, a year passes, and then you see Jake Sully conducting raids on the company's train, which is, I like him training the Navi to be more militarized because we need to survive and defend our home planet. And he's working with the sons, and like the oldest one is not what an older brother should be, because the youngest one, or the second one, is like, hey, let's go down there, even though we're supposed to be looking for the helicopters.
Yeah, they're supposed to be looked out for if they're coming back to for reinforcements.
Yeah.
And they, as kids, I do like the family dynamic. Usually, when sequels continue the story of main characters of the past movie and make them into parents, usually the family drags down
Yeah.
the plot or the character development of said family. But no, I expected this. Yes, they're young and brash, and they're like, "Come on, let's just give it a go. Come on, it's our only chance
Yeah.
for a while until Dad trusts us to actually go into military shit."
Yeah.
And they do, and they almost get blown up by reinforcements, which they were supposed to be at lookout for.
Yeah.
And who got blamed here? Was it the eldest or the youngest?
The eldest, because he's like, you're the elder brother. Why did you let him
Yeah.
convince you otherwise?
Yeah, when Jake Sully scolds these kids, that shit is so real.
Yeah.
Like that shit's too fucking real. I was like, what the hell? He's a good dad.
Yeah.
But
Like,
God, when he gets mad at you, he gets mad.
yeah. Like, it is again surreal seeing Sam Worthington again. I'm like, fuck, it's been a while.
Yeah, he's been in kind of subpar movies as of recent.
Yeah.
When he was probably one of the biggest stars back in like early 2010s, which is
Yeah.
such a shame. Because I really do like Sam Worthington.
Yeah, but yeah, he is a strict dad, and Natir is like, hey, you're being too hard on them. He's like, but I have to be.
Yeah, they almost got blown up.
Yeah. And speaking of going back to the Sky People, you find out that Quadric is still alive, and so is most of the rest of his company.
Well, no, it's more of like they metal geared this one.
Yeah.
So the consciousness
alive.
of Quadric, the consciousness of Quadric lives on within his avatar after he has died, and they have made like video logs telling them like, "Hey, if I die, you're the next best thing."
Yeah.
So Quadric's dead,
Yeah.
but his soul lives on within Liquid Snake, within
Within
Ocelot. Liquid Ocelot, nah. But he lives on into this Navi body.
Yeah.
Same with the rest of his soldiers. So he still has his squad with him, just in Navi form.
Yeah. And then he's told by the new general that their main priority is to hunt down Jake Sully because he is the one leading these ambushes. And since
Mm.
Quadric already has beef with Sully, he's like, all right, I'll do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go out, and it's cool seeing like these highly trained soldiers in Navi form doing like SEAL Team 6. You're like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah. Where it is like a special like task force but as Navi, which I really like seeing. Oddly enough, some of them already have like a whole sleeve of tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't know where the tattoo parlor is in
Pandora.
Pandora, but
Yeah.
okay.
Right. But yeah, they hit close to home. They're assigned to go sneak in because when the military tries to go in the mountains, they're always attacked by the local wildlife. So if they're like, all right, well, if we're disguised as Navi, maybe they won't. And their theory proves through because they're able to go to the same site where the last movie ended for Quadric. And Quadric
Yeah.
sees how he dies. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very jarring. I was like, that's kind of cool though, where he just looks on and he's like, takes the skull and cracks it.
Yeah.
But before that happens, the kids of Jake Sully, here's my one gripe, is that every time some bad shit happens, they're always together and they're always in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you guys just not? Can you guys just leave when it's the first sign of danger instead of exploring?
Right?
Yeah, but I guess it's about family, as Vin Diesel like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they look on, they go back to the old shack, as they call it. And they see Quadric and his squad. And Jake Sully, thankfully his eldest son reports in. Jake Sully tells him, get out of there as fast as possible. But sadly, they get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when Quadric finds out, oh shit, my son's still here.
Yeah. I like the ambush scene when Nithiri and Jake sneak up upon them because Jake's obviously still has his marine training. Nithiri's just doing brutal arrowhead shots. Like, I don't remember you doing this in the first movie, but please
See,
keep doing
right?
that.
This is what I was like. This is what I'm talking about. Is that every time Jake Sully and Nithiri come in and they just wipe out the whole group, it's very like you just see a guy just like get pinned to a tree by an arrow.
Yeah.
That's just so cool to see.
You see, like one of the female soldier avatars, you just get like a arrow in her eye. You're like, you're gone.
Yeah, they pretty much buffed up the gore.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but like it's enough to be like, oh shit.
Yeah. Going back a bit, like Nithiri also can shoot her arrow through the helicopter window. Like, is that? I don't remember that happening in the first movie at all.
I remember it kind of does. Like they really have to
Draw it back.
like fly upwards, really up close, but draw it full. I don't know. But
Yeah.
all I know is that things that avatars use are way stronger than what we use because they're way bigger, and
Yeah.
avatars are way stronger.
Yeah. Also,
So I wouldn't be like, no, that won't work because the window's bulletproof. No, the arrow's like 10 feet long, and the bow's twice that size. And
Yeah.
so is the thing that's using it.
also like how Quadric keeps looking at the arrows, like, and goes to talks to Nithiri like, "Hey, Mrs. Sully, I noticed your calling card. Fuck you."
Yeah, but they are taking out majority of their squad.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty sick scene to see. But yeah, they gather up all the kids. They start running. Sadly, Spider. Did we mention his name? The son of Quadric's
Yeah.
name, Spider,
Yeah.
gets hit by a grenade, falls off, and gets captured again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's taken to, I guess, the military base while Jake tells Nithiri, like, we can't stay here. I know you made a promise to your father, but for the sake of the tribe, we have to go. And regrettably, Nithiri agrees, and they assign a new leader, and they go to the, I guess, the reef people.
Yeah, I love the argument that they had. before they left where like you're taking this away from the kids. They had their hands around their necks.
Yeah.
That was the line I was like, "It's a point."
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to see your kids die?
Yeah. And then poor Spider is tortured, and then Quadric's like, you know what? Let me try a gentler method, because they're just like, I know what they're doing to his brain. There's like,
Giving him like slight epilepsy. I don't know.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It was giving me epilepsy when I was watching it in the movie theater.
yeah.
Like,
And I'm like, oh god.
yeah, I was like, nah, I ain't looking at that shit.
Like he just does sweet talk Spiders, like, hey, I'm not your real dad. I never was him, and we can form this new relationship. You wanna hang out with us? Be part of this company? But Spider's still, leaning towards like, no, my family is Jake Sully's family.
And yes, I will spoil this. All throughout the story of Spider and Quadric, or well, more of Miles and Miles. I love it that Spider doesn't like have this conflicting feelings of like. I mean, he does, but like he doesn't have like, oh, I'm gonna choose my father or Jake Sully. No, he's in there for himself, and he's just trying to get out.
Yeah.
His motivations never get swayed. Sure, his feelings towards his father he does care about him a little bit more by the end of this film, but at the same time, you still know with what side he's on.
Yeah.
I really like Spider's character. He wasn't annoying or anything.
Yeah,
Kid
yeah.
was responsible as fuck.
Yeah, I thought he was acted pretty well too. I like this character. But yeah, Jake Sully and Eteri have to go to the Reef Tribe where they meet. Well, that's where we get the title, the Way of Water, because the Reef people do the Way of Water, and the leader is Tonowari, played by Cliff Curtis, and his wife is Ronald, voiced by Kate Winslet. So it's a reunion between Kate Winslet and James Cameron.
Yeah. Did you ever like notice every time they would pop up the theme of the Avatar, like this theme of this movie?
Yeah.
It always sounds like
Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it starts out with then I was like, what?
Yeah.
It always threw me off. I was like finish it with far at least.
But yeah, at first they're hesitant because you're essentially bringing your problems to us. Why do we want to do that? But no, you are a great leader and we respect you, and if you learn our ways and respect our ways, we will accept you.
And I love the direction that they took with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we could have stayed with the Navi or the standard forest Navi and just have the same fucking movie again. We've already seen the magic of that side. The forest or how it works. I'm so happy that they went to the water and just like, this is a whole new spectrum. I will admit, this looks fucking amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised if it won an award.
Yeah, like every time they were underwater, since we came straight from Atlantis, or what do you call that? What do you call Atlantis and Black Panther, whatever it's called. Like every time we were underwater, we were like, I can't see shit. Here, you're like, I can see shit. Oh my god.
Well, there it's like underneath a trench, while this is like coral reef area where, well, I'm for sure you and me are very used to since we live in the Philippines.
Yeah, this is like
this is very at home to us.
Yeah, there's like Palawan, clear water. Like wow, didn't know Jake Sully was really close to us.
And I love it that this Navi is a completely different like race.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, no shit. Their patterns are different, but it's not just that. They also have fins as tails instead of just the regular monkey tail, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And their arms are kind of shaped in a way that it looks like a scuba diver-esque.
Yeah.
thing.
Their bodies are shaped according to evolution on that planet, where Jake Sully's clan has hands and tails like that because they live the rainforest.
But just imagine if we had that kind of evolution, whereas people in like the western area, like Midland, would just look like regular people, while us near like the Pacific, near bodies of water, we just have like webbed hands.
Have Pinoys become mermaids? Like, makes sense.
I wish.
Yeah.
Let there be a little bit of magic in this world.
Yeah. But yeah, they learn the way of water, and that includes riding these dinosaur-looking Elasmosaurus types.
Elasmosaurus slash dolphin things,
Yeah.
which are the cutest fucking things in this
Yeah.
movie. So I was like, oh. So every time it got hurt, I was like, stop. It's when one of the Marines like shot one, I was like,
yeah, like
it's, to be honest, I felt like they shot a dog in front of me. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck.
like you're just a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kids learn how to ride the Elasmosaurus things that are very, very fast underwater, so they have to get used to being dragged underwater, and they have to get used to breathing underwater too. All the tricks of the trade. And Jake Sully learns how to ride the flying fish dolphin. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah. It's just a flying fish.
Yeah.
Alligator gar looking thing.
Yeah, I like how confident he is at first. He's like, yeah, I got this. He even ties his hand properly, and then once it hits the water, he's like, oh, fuck.
You got about their reactions, like, oh! But I was like, it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah. And like, speaking of making bonds or connecting with animals, like Quadric and the rest of his soldiers do that with the Banshees, with Spider's aid. And like how Quadric has like a very military way of like subduing the animals.
Just fucking... He punches a dragon in the face and then mounts it.
Yeah. I like how it kind of echoes how Jake Sully does it, but like less punchy and more like Jake was like, alright, it's an animal, I need to respect it. Quadric's is like, oh, no, fuck you. You'll be mine.
Respect me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it that Spider was like, oh, did I mention that you're supposed to actually like tie its mouth first, then mount it? I was like, thanks for the advice, but he's already on top of it.
You also find out that Tanwari's kids are little shits because they bully Jake Sully's kids, and Jake Sully always has to be like, I'm sorry, Tanwari. And you're like, but they were picking on your daughter. Like, she's a freak. You're like, you're really gonna... I get that you have to show respect.
You kind of have to show respect, though, but at the same time, that is never the answer. Like, fighting should never be the answer, because the eldest brother already kind of told them off. Like, hey, don't you dare touch my sister. But it was the second to the youngest one who just started throwing hams. I'm like...
Yeah.
I could say that like they already diffused the situation, but they escalated it by punching the guy.
Yeah, they're all calm, and then Tanwari's kid was like, and then Jake's son was like, You're like, oh, okay.
I love how rough the fighting looked.
Yeah.
Like it did look like a bunch of teenagers just tussling, and then you see Kiri like laughing it off. I will say, who's the one who played like the daughter of Tonowari?
The actress's name or the character's name?
The character.
Deseria. Sir.
Look, I don't want any of this like nonsense furry shit in the comments, but she was hot. When she came out of the water, I was like,
you know what? I agree.
Yeah, I was
like, you know what, for Navi?
All right.
You look fine.
I like my women tall.
Tanwari's kids are still little shits because they like Loak apologizes and they're like, all right, bro, let's do a hunt, and then they leave him alone in the water to be hunted by this Dunkleosteus Leopleurodon looking thing. You're like, you guys are dicks.
It's like an absolute. If that were me, I would have immediately punched that kid in the face.
Yeah.
And told his father off. Like, I don't care if you're a chief. Your piece of shit kid almost got me killed.
It's like equivalent of like me abandoning someone to a great white shark. Like, it's funny. Like, no, it's not.
No, it's not. And that, for sure, if anybody had like, what's a phobia again for the sea?
Yeah.
For sure, that would have triggered it. Like, for sure, my brother is not gonna watch this movie at all if he sees my review.
But yeah, thankfully, Loak is saved by the whale. I, for the life of me, can't remember the name of the whale, but it's a rogue whale.
Well, did you say there's always a bigger fish when it attacked the shark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Loak befriends this rogue whale when he helps like release one of the hooks from the sky people, and they form a bond. And then he tells his father what happened due to his elder brother being like, "This little shit just told me what they did to Loak. Tell the chief what happened." And they go off, but like Loak is returned, and then they have an argument again, and then he goes off on his own, and then he tells like later on the next day he tells the kids like, "Oh, I made friends with this whale that travels alone." They're like, "Oh, that whale's a killer. It's a rogue
Yeah.
whale."
By the way, Loak
Yeah.
and the chief's kid make up because he kind of saw himself with this within that kid. Because as soon as the father was like, "You bring disappointment to the family," he was like, "Oh shit." He's like,
Yeah.
he's just a kid as well, and he's like, "No, no, no. It was my idea to go out hunting."
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he takes the fall. There's a little bit of respect between these two guys now.
Yeah, and then like he tells them about the rogue whale, and they're like, "That whale's a killer. It kills people." They're like, did it betray something in its pod? What happened? I don't understand. How does a
Right.
whale become a rogue whale? How does this work?"
That was the honest thing too, because like when you see it,
Yeah.
they made a whale emote very well.
Yeah.
Like it's not jarring to the point where it's like cartoonish,
Yeah.
but you could tell that it's emoting while being realistic. So that was like odd
Yeah.
in a good way. In a good way.
And like you find out that these whales are more intelligent than our own whales and humans in general, and that they have feelings, they have connections. Like it's like how elephants or pods of whales here can connect, but here they have a deeper level of connection because they have a bond with the reef people, and they're like, every time the herd comes back, they're like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen you in a while. I have a kid now. Oh, so do I."
I want a pet whale. Not gonna lie, I was like, I kind of want one.
Yeah.
I want a connection with one. Are they like elephants? Like they never forget?
Based on some of the actions here, probably.
I guess so.
But like at one point, Kiri connects with Awa underwater, and she has a seizure, and like Ronald and Nitri are doing magic while the scientists are like, "Yeah, we can explain this spiritually, but in reality, she's up, and if she does it again underwater, she might never come back." And you're like, I wonder if that's set up for this movie, or like 5 movies down the road. Who knows?
I don't know either, but like, they never explained why.
Yeah.
Like, she never did it again,
Yeah.
and we never got like a resolve to it. We just know that if she goes back into the Tree of Life, what was it called?
Awa.
Awa, she will die.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out in 13 years again.
Yeah, I love the theory. I love the theory's like reaction. Where she was like, when the other like queen comes in, and she was like, "Oh, I guess I'm not needed here." It's like, "No, no, 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 no. We need you. Get the fuck out. You're all useless. You've done nothing."
Yeah. But it's because like Jake asked the scientists to help. Like the military is like, "That's weird. One of our own that's not identified is flying out there to a bunch of islands. That's where Jake must be." And so that's where we get the scene of Quadric and the rest of his company burning down villages and shooting the poor dinosaur Lasmosaurus dolphin thing. You're like, "Ah, fuck you. You guys are dicks." And
Yeah, they're torching down their village and shit.
yeah. Spider's begging Quadric, like, "Don't kill them. Please.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I'm begging you." And like he has to translate like Quadric's words of like, "If you don't tell me where Jake is, I will kill you." And he's begging Quadric at the same time he's trying to translate like, "Please, do something."
That show was unnerving though, because they really did have one of the, I think one of the head villager,
Yeah.
like on the ground with a barrel right to their head. I was like,
Yeah.
wait.
No, it was his wife. So we're like, it's either you tell me or I kill your
Oh
wife.
shit! Right.
Yeah. And they're like, "You know what? The one way to draw them out is to hunt these whales where they have such a special connection to." And then that's when Quadric enlists the help of, or the aid of the head whale hunter, who is with, I don't know, some sympathetic scientist. And-
Yeah, hey man, that was Flight of the Conchords, dude.
True. But yeah,
yeah, go on.
they do hunt the whale, and it is pretty rough to see them essentially torture this poor creature to death. Like, please just make it quick at least.
Yeah, and I do like the character of Jermaine. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Jermaine Clement, and that's from New Zealand. So I'll be probably butchering it, but you can see the entire time they're hunting down these whales. He's just like he's rolling his eyes like fuck.
Yeah.
These things are cool, and you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
But from him, we find out that they have like this thing that grants like everlasting life.
Yeah, it's the new unobtainium, essentially.
Yeah. So they're look, we get it, Avatar. You're telling us a message.
Yeah.
Stop mining and stop whaling. I get it.
Protect our waters. Very valuable message, but I like it. I like it when it's not shoved down my throat. It's important, but like I get it. I get it, James Cameron. I don't let her in the ocean. I'm a good boy.
I get it. You've been to the Mariana Trench. Fuck.
I did feel bad because when they killed the mom, the baby's like, "Mom, get up, mom."
Yeah. And it just died with her.
Yeah.
Like it didn't want to leave her side, so it just dried up and died.
Yeah.
That was good.
And then, like, the tribe sees their dead bodies and they're like, "This is bad." And at the same time, Logue is like, "Oh, my best friend is the rogue whale." And they're like, "What? You don't understand. He chose violence." And you see, like, after he goes, like, Loa goes to the whale and he sees the flashback of, like, oh, the sky people were hunting them. And he fought back. And you're like, I don't get the problem, though. Because it's like, yeah, we're not supposed to have violence, but at the same time, they were hunting us. What do you want me to do? Just sit there and take it.
Right. No. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And was it like... yeah, pretty much this whale has PTSD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it lost a fin. It has scars all over its face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, they tell the pod, like, hey, if you have this device that the sky people use, tell us and we'll remove it. And, like, Loak goes off to see his friend again. And he goes to his friend and he's like, help me. I have a thing on my fin. He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was the device. That means the thing's close.
Yeah.
I love the design for their boat.
Yeah.
Like, the Sky People's boats. That's just badass. And... But it's so odd. Like, why did all the kids have to be there?
Right?
Like, you could have just... I guess Na'vi aren't like regular human siblings where they're like, fuck you, youngest one, you stay home. We're going to the market.
Is that meme from Harry Potter? It's like, why is it every time there's trouble, you guys are the center of attention?
It's always these five, like, it's always these, like, siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have to rush to pull the thing out of the whale and hide from the military because they already sent out their submarines and they're hunting them. But unfortunately, the son and Kiri and the youngest get captured by Quadric. As Jake Sully and the rest of the tribe, including Tonwari and Ronal, are trying to save them. And then they see Jake Sully. Quadric sees Jake Sully and he's like, hey, if you want your kids, you come out alone and we'll do this and we'll finish this.
Yeah. And James Cameron, as much as I don't like your first film, or Titanic, he did a really good job with his third act.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, this third act was just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Because, oh lord, they really tried to get their kids back. But when they did, well, one didn't make it.
Yeah. Like, going back a bit, I like how you're all saved at first by the rogue whale when he does essentially an elbow drop from his training from WWE, I guess, on the ship.
Again, it was just writhing around the entire ship. Like, kicking people off the fucking thing.
Yeah, and literally disarms the whale hunter because he gets his arm stuck on, like, the hook.
And
I guess
I don't love how the guy who sympathizes for the
I thought we were the most intelligent, huh?
yeah, and gets cut off.
Yeah. And Jake, Sully, and I don't know, the kids rescue the kids, including the eldest son. But they're like, "Hey, Spider's here. We can't leave him alone." So they go off to rescue Spider. At the same time, the daughters are like, "We had to help them too." They're like, oh, "For fuck's sake, they're gonna get captured again," which they do by Quadric. But like, Loak and what's the name of the son? Fuck, Google, don't let me down. Not now.
I'll try my
Nelson.
best to help you. I'll try my best to help you. Loak.
Nateum.
Young Nateum. Oh, okay. Nateum.
Nateum rescues Spider, but in the process, as you mentioned, Nateum doesn't make it. Like, I guess you blink and you miss it because I didn't get the part where he got shot. I just
Neither did I.
Yeah.
I think it was just like he pretty much got caught in the chaos where we didn't really notice that. Oh fuck! He got shot until it was a little too late.
Yeah, and I like how, as the eldest, Nateum incorporates Jake Sully's military training because I guess since he's a Marine, he trains his eldest. But Loak hasn't received full training yet. Probably will in the next one. But yeah,
Probably.
Nateum gets shot like right in the center and he doesn't make it. And it is a sad scene of like, oh fuck, Jake Sully just lost his kid.
And I love the talk down that Jake Sully had to do for Netiri.
Yeah.
Where, like, he just... Because Netiri's pretty much bawling her eyes out, going crazy because her son's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, focus. It's time to John Wick.
Yeah.
And they do. This fucking power couple. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but you got nothing of these two. They fucking Batman their way into the ship, start taking out what was left of the Netiri, of the Navi squad, in a most brutal fucking fashion.
Like,
And you just see the deadpan on like Netiri's face, like, you fucked up.
yeah. Like Jake's going there with like knife and then gun and then knife, and you see Netiri just use her bow as a club and as an arrow, bow and arrow. Like, I like this couple a lot. Even though it seems like in this movie Netiri kind of took a backseat.
She did.
Yeah.
She kind of did. It was more of like a. It's kind of more of like Jake Sully's relationship with his kids.
Yeah.
While Netiri is more of like the sympathetic mother. But there is layers to Netiri.
Yeah.
Because Spider does help Jake Sully and Netiri get to the ship. But once she saw an opportunity with... she does hold Spider hostage.
Yeah.
When he's supposed to be like this adopted son. And she goes, a son for a son. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually messed up. And I really am intrigued. Early on into this movie, you do see Quadric and Spider have this bond where it does feel like a father and son moment. Like a lot of father and son moments happen here with these two characters. So when Quadric killed, what was his name?
Nateum.
I was like, shit. How is this gonna end?
Yeah.
Because you've developed so much character between Spider and Quadric. If you kill Quadric now, you just wasted the whole fucking father-son dynamic that they've had.
Yeah. At the same time, they set it up in the beginning where Netiri sees Spider and she has like this condescending look. She's like, he's one of them. I don't trust him. That's why she flips the switch where she easily takes him hostage. She's like, he's one of yours. A son for a son. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, and she cuts him like right across the chest and almost stabs him.
Yeah.
And this is where the layers come in, where Quadric immediately lets go of her daughter.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, oh shit. There's layers to these characters now. Quadric's not just a power-hungry colonel.
Yeah, you're like Quadric face turn? Probably in like 5 movies.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, I would love to have a bittersweet ending for him, but I would love them to just utilize this whole conflicting, oh shit, Jake Sully has my son, but they're like two fathers of one boy.
Yeah. Like we get to my absolute favorite scene of like Quadric's like, I will hunt you down for the rest of time, and then Jake's like, you know what? Let's finish this. You're like, all right.
Yeah, they were supposed to escape,
Yeah.
right? And there was like, oh, fuck you, let's go. He like takes off his shirt.
Like I was totally expecting him to be like, good luck catching us then. You'll never catch us. But no, Jake's like, nah, we're finishing this right now.
Yeah, but the ship's going down,
Yeah.
and they still have two daughters that are stuck,
Yeah.
like handcuffed to a railing
Yeah.
while the ship was sinking. And I was like, again, if you have a fear of the water and a boat sinking, or James Cameron just likes to tell stories about a boat fucking sinking, you might not like this one. But it was a pretty sick scene, though. Like, the
Yeah.
stakes were there.
Yeah, like Quadric wants to kill Jake because he killed him, and Jake wants to kill Quadric because you are a threat to this very planet. I will take you out. And it is
Mhm.
like a relentless beatdown from both of them. We're like, I don't know how this movie's gonna end. But I swear to God, if Quadric gets the upper hand and stabs Jake, I might lose this in the theater. I've been sitting here for 3 hours and 45 minutes, and if he dies, I'm like, oh fuck, there goes Sam Morty. I will lose it.
I'm just imagining Enzo, like, in a quiet ass theater, just going, what?
Yeah. But no, James Cameron's avoiding the cliches, though. When the ship's sinking and the theory is with Duke and Jake Sully is alone with what's his name, Loak, you're like, how is this movie going to end? They have no oxygen whatsoever. Cameron, what are you going to do? Why are you playing with my emotions like this? But no,
Yeah.
Kiri gets the thing that lets you breathe underwater, and she sends out Sea Life to guide Theory and Jake to safe passage. Along the way, Spider also saves Quadric. And you're like, this is a very interesting dynamic. And then, like, he goes to shore, but he chooses to go back to Jake Sully's family.
I love that again. They could have ruined this whole dynamic between Jake Sully, Quadric, and Spider if they just went, oh, Spider wants to go back with his original dad and give him a second shot because he sees that he's scared. No. He saves him because he does care, but then he knows where the right is. He knows what his father has done. Even though they've had their special moments, this guy is still this genocidal fuck.
Yeah.
So he's like, nah. Like, we're even, peace.
Yeah.
And I love that. And Jake Sully, like, takes both Spider and, what's his name again? Loak, into his arms and goes a son for a son.
Yeah.
And I really love that. I really do.
And then they bury Nateum in the reef, and Dunmore tells him, like, he's one of us and you're one of us now. Don't apologize for bringing the war because this is our fight. And Jake Sully's family ends up connecting with the AWA, and he's like, there's no more running. We'll make our stand here because this is our home. And then that's where the movie ends. It ends like how the first one ends. You're like, alright, I can't wait to see the next one. 5 or 13 years, whenever it comes out.
Yeah. And then the weekend pops in. Excuse me. But yeah. I would say it's like it was a bittersweet ending, though.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised with their storytelling. This could have been just a cut and paste fucking blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
But James Cameron did put some thought into it and telling these separate stories with Quadric and Spider and Jake Sully with his family. Sure, the theory kind of took a back seat. I will say that was a little bit off, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It still didn't take me out of the movie.
Like, she had her shining moments in the first one, so I guess for now she takes it back, and maybe in the next one she is the main star again. Who knows?
Yeah, and for sure we're gonna see the Jermaine Clement. Like, he'll for sure come back because we didn't really see him die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some other characters like Quadric. Quadric didn't die. He did have like that face of like, I'm coming back.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting sequel. But since we reached the end, what would you rate Avatar: The Way of Water?
You know, sure, there was a couple of scenes here that are like a little bit off. Um, but I really can't hate it. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a solid 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this way fucking more than the first one. And probably one of my favorite, or is my favorite, James Cameron, which says a lot because okay, look, the rest of the James Cameron movies are like right here. Avatar, Shape of Water, or sorry, Way of Water. Sorry, that's Guillermo del Toro. Like, yeah, that's all far off there. Like Titanic and other Avatar, right there. Way of Water, right here. So pretty good movie, and I really suggest watching it in theaters. Please watch it in theaters.
Yeah.
You're not doing yourself a service if you're gonna watch it like
at home.
at home when it comes out like for streaming.
Yeah, I'll also give this an out of 10 because like aside the nitpicks I have is that the theory takes a back seat and like there are moments where I'm like, this is a long movie. I feel it. Well, like we didn't really touch on the technology because you're really like, how the fuck did James Cameron make this movie? Because it's seamless how amazing the technology is. Like this year, you're like you've seen pretty bad CGI with like Thor: Love and Thunder and a bit with Multiverse of Madness. Where like I can tell that's CGI, but here like even though you know it's CGI, you like forget like maybe Pandora does exist.
You're just like, man, how many blue people did they hire?
And the characters are now more compelling, like Jake and his family and Quadric. You're like, I kind of care more now, and I'm more invested than I was before. And I like if a year ago you asked me after rewatching the first one, which I did again for this movie, and like if there was no sequel, if you asked me like, are you interested in seeing where these characters go? I would say not really. I think it's a happy ending because it does feel like a finale with the third act of the last one. But here, I'm like, no, I want to see where this goes. I'm like, it doesn't rank up with like, it's not as best as like James Cameron's best, which is Terminator 2 and Aliens for me. But it definitely is one of his best, just not the best. But yeah, I'll say it is definitely worth watching in the theaters, and that's probably really the only way to watch it if you can. Like if you have no time or have no money, then watch it at home. But if you can watch it in the cinemas, please, because it is a visual feast for the eyes. You're like, holy fuck, this is amazing to look at. And as
That's
I
true.
say, never bet against James Cameron because he is one heck of a filmmaker. So yeah, 9 out of 10 from both of us. And I think this year presents a very interesting year because both this and Top Gun Maverick are both properties that's not based on like comic books or anything fantasy like. It's their original ideas and they're making bank in the box office. And like as these two and Everything Everywhere All at Once present an interesting sift where like maybe audiences are kind of maybe preferring more of this over comic book movies now. Who knows? Well, bottom line is that we've picked a very interesting time in movie history to be talk about movies and YouTube because I feel like a shift is coming, and
That
it'll be
is true.
interesting to
Like
see.
there is a renaissance happening right
Yeah,
now, where we're finally kind of moving out of that phase
yeah,
where the dominant comic book movies are suddenly taking a back seat again and letting original, stories to finally gain its light. So,
yeah.
I can't wait to see more. Like they're doing a really good job with this whole sequel thing.
Yeah,
So yeah, I can't wait for next year because there's a shit ton more movies that are coming up. I've heard,
yeah,
especially with like Oppenheimer. We will do a cover on the trailer soon. So
yeah. That and fucking Barbie. Like I can't imagine what a Barbie movie would be. Like not to shit on it, but I'm saying like I can't wait to see what happens because you hear.
hey man, Ryan Gosling is there. I got a new personality. Here I come.
But yeah, it's an interesting time to be a movie fan, and like it's fine with comic book movies because they have had a decade of being the top dogs at the box office. So to let someone else take the top spot while they take a back seat we'll be fine. They'll be fine. As long as they're
Yes, sir.
good, everything will be in equilibrium. But that's enough of us talking about the future of cinema. What do you guys think
Mhm.
of Avatar: The Way of Water? That has been our video of honestly one of the most interesting movies of this year. What do you guys think? Do you like it more than the first one or less than the first one? Are you indifferent, or is this one of your favorite movies of all time? Who knows? Maybe you did grow up in the 2000s and you were mesmerized by this movie, so more power to you.
Mhm.
If you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. You can also find us at Facebook, Spotify, and TikTok, all under the same name. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, Spotify to hear us on the go, and Facebook to see us react to trailers. As Jomer mentioned, we'll be doing one for Oppenheimer and Barbie, stream games, and about our lives from time to time. And individually, you can find me at The Office 1995 on IG and Twitter. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnJOM underscore on Instagram. It is my account. I almost forgot the underscore.
Yes. And since we're releasing this, well, if you're in the US, we're releasing this Christmas time. So we'll end this by saying Merry Christmas. But if you're from the
Merry
Philippines,
Christmas.
it'll be the 26th. Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.